I'm Cunningham, here with Antuan Goodwin at the 2012 New York International Auto Show. And we got some pretty nice cars behind us. There's a McLaren, an Aston Martin.
An ugly Aston Martin.
There's no ugly Aston Martins. There's a Bugatti over there. Pretty nice stuff, but we're not going to talk about those. We're going to talk about some of the new cars they've actually shown off here. None of these are really new.
Yeah. The interesting thing is this show has been all about like regular cars that regular people drive. I mean, pretty much everything here is something that you'd probably see on your commute into work next year.
Yeah, except for, well, maybe next year, the RLX concept by Acura.
Right.
I just saw that. That's actually pretty close to production, so I expect to see a production version of that at the LA Auto Show. This is really the replacement for the RL sedan, and that's Acura's big, full-on sedan.
Mm-hmm.
They're showing it off here as a concept, and it's going to have that super handling hybrid powertrain that they talked about last year and released in the NSX too.
So gasoline engine up front, and then electric engine spinning the back wheels when you need it. Kind of like the Lexus RX.
Yeah.
Kind of how they do it.
Yeah, kind of a similar kind of thing to that. So Acura is really kind of catching up with the whole Toyota Lexus hybrid power system. This is supposed to be pretty cool though. I mean, they're talking about 370 horsepower with this and 30 miles per gallon too, which is a nice combination.
Do you think they're going to keep the RLX name, or will it just be the RL when it comes out next year?
I think it's going to be the RLX, because I think they want to put that whole RL thing behind them. And also X means all-wheel drive, although the little secret is that this car will also come in a non-hybrid variant with just front-wheel drive.
Yeah, so maybe it will be the RL and the RLX. That'd be interesting.
Could be. It'd be a weird split.
Or it could be the RL with the ESHAWD.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just like they do with the TL. Yeah, makes sense.
The RL is interesting, but what really got me interested was just debuted a couple hours ago. It's the Infiniti LE concept. Now, essentially, this is a small sedan, a little bit smaller than a G sedan, and it's all-electric powertrain.
So this is like the Infiniti version of the Leaf?
Yeah, I actually heard someone in the press room say it's like they just left the AF off of Leaf, Infiniti LE. But what's interesting is that it's a concept, so it looks very conceptual, but they say that it's about 85% accurate to what we're actually going to see on the roads in 24 months. And I'm thinking that puts this car a luxury sedan that has a full electric powertrain, about 240 pound-feet of torque, hitting the market within about a year of the Tesla Model S. So I'm thinking it's going to get really interested for people who are looking to spend about $50,000 on an electric car.
That could be, yeah. So they are definitely going to put this into production.
They're definitely going to put it into production, and it should look pretty much like what we saw here at the show.
Yeah, I walked by it, and it's definitely not a kind of car that Infiniti currently has. I mean, it doesn't really look like the G. It doesn't seem to keep that same kind of styling. I guess it looks a little bit like the larger M in some ways.
Looks a lot like the JX, the big SUV, but they shrunk those sort of bulbous proportions down to a more of a sedan size. And they did kind of like want to emphasize, and this is like their company line, it's like they didn't make an EV into an Infiniti, they took the tailpipe off of an Infiniti and made it an EV. So they want you to know this is through and through. If you're a fan of the G and the M or even the FX SUVs, you'll probably like what they're going to have here.
So yeah, pure electric drive. Have they said anything about the range or any of those kind of specs yet?
They haven't officially quoted it, but unofficially they're saying about the same 100 miles of the Leaf. And if it's exactly like that, then we can expect the EPA gives the Leaf, like 73 miles range. So.
Oh yeah.
Still a little bit less than what Tesla's guessing with 160 miles range on their Model S, but I think when it comes out, it'll probably end up chalking up a little bit less than that also.
Yeah, so no real breakthroughs as far as powertrain technology or electric powertrain technology in that. But now, what about the cabin tech in that? Have they seen anything new as far as Infiniti goes?
Well, they've got like a very conceptual cabin technology package in there right now. So I don't think that anything that we're seeing in that car, like on the show floor, is actually going to make it into production.
That's the 15% that's not going to be in production.
Precisely. But what is interesting is that it has built-in wireless inductive charging. And what Infiniti's done that's amazing is that they've built that system. They've tied it into their intelligent park assist system and their around view camera. The idea being that you're not going to have to spend 20 minutes backing your car up and going forward trying to get the inductive plate lined up with the inductive charger on your car.
Yeah.
You just pull into your garage, you hit park, and it lines itself up.
Oh, that'll be convenient.
So that's actually very interesting.
Yeah, and I saw that the Nissan company, which owns Infiniti, obviously, also launched the Altima here.
Right. Now, I had pretty high hopes about the Altima. I've been on a bit of a roller coaster as far as how I feel about this vehicle. because it debuts and it kind of looks like they just took the headlights off the Maxima and slapped them on the Ultima and called it a day. The powertrain is pretty much the same, 2.5 liter four cylinders.
So no direct injection or anything like that?
They've got 6 more horsepower, so nothing new really happening there.
So that's a bread and butter car. That's not a...
And the 3.5 liter V6, also exactly the same, no change in power or fuel efficiency this year. Still all CVT, but when you get on the inside of that car, it looks like a completely different vehicle. They've got really nice leather on the interior, lots of different materials, metal, like what looks like metal on the dashboard, nice wood finishes, and what they're calling zero gravity seats that are based on NASA technology. I guess that means they're really comfortable.
Okay.
And they've also got their new infotainment system, Nissan Connect, which is actually rolling in Google Maps POI and Pandora Internet Radio integration when you pair it with a Bluetooth smartphone.
So we're finally going to see like a connected car, connected cabin tech systems from Nissan Infiniti.
Right, and we're very interested to see what they're doing there. So it kind of seems like they took a, if it's not really broke, don't fix it sort of attitude with the Ultima for this next generation. It never really was a bad looking car, and the CVT and the basic powertrain it's not really that bad. I mean, the 2.5 liter they've got in there with the CVT will get about 38 miles per gallon on the highway in this iteration. So that's pretty close to 40 for a big sedan. Can't really complain about that. But when we last had the Ultima, we hated the cabin tech, and they fixed all of that.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, now that's their mid-size sedan. I did see a new car from Lexus. This is their LS, which is kind of it was their entry-level sedan. That's what they termed it, front-wheel drive. And now Lexus is saying, oh, this is actually more than just an entry-level sedan for Lexus now. They're saying they're actually comparing it to the Mercedes-Benz E-Class.
Oh, so this is the ES 300H that I saw spinning on the platform in their booth that everyone's walking past and not looking at.
Yeah, well, that's actually maybe the coolest thing about it. They're actually offering a hybrid version of the ES. So they've got the ES 350 like they had before, same 3.5 liter V6 engine, no changes there. They had some new cabin tech. They've got that new Lexus Inform system, which is very much like Toyota Antuan.
Right.
So they'll have that stuff in there, and they've got that little remote touch controller.
I like that thing.
Yeah, it kind of works like a mouse a little bit. So they've got that, and you kind of expect them to build those things into the refresh of the ES. It's about time. But really, it's the hybrid version that I think is the most interesting because that uses, actually, it's the same hybrid powertrain as the Camry hybrid.
Right, so a 2 liter Atkins cycle.
2.5 liter Atkins cycle.
200 horsepower combined sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Electric
basically,
powertrain.
if you like the Camry hybrid, which I did, we just reviewed it not too long ago, and I really like that car, and you want to spend $5,000 to $10,000 too much for it, this is your car.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly luxury, you got that Lexus badge on there, maybe a better sound system. There's a few things you'll get with that over the Toyota, but I don't know. I mean, certainly, the Toyota, the powertrain of the Toyota is great, and they're talking about 40 miles per gallon with the Lexus ES.
Right.
So that's really good.
I mean, I couldn't actually think of anything that I would have changed about the Camry hybrid, so it's a tough sell for me.
Yeah.
Of course, the ES has always been a tough sell for me.
One of the cars that I probably responded to the best at the show is the BMW X1, which is just a compact SUV, but it looks cool. It's nice and practical, it seems like, and it's actually one of the cheapest BMWs you can get. It is very base. It's going to be about $31,000. Now I know as soon as you add in iPod integration, it'll jump up to $35,000.
Well, like $75,000.
Yeah, that's with navigation.
Right.
But you can get that car in just rear-wheel drive or with all-wheel drive, and with the 4-liter engine or the 6-liter engine, both turbocharged.
Right.
So I think there's some really good powertrain combinations in there, and it also has BMW's latest head unit technology, which is really good stuff. I mean, I've been given cars with that editor's choices every time I review them lately.
So essentially, this is, for all of us who are basically complaining that we didn't get the hatchback version of the BMW 1 Series, this is BMW going we got something that's kind of like a hatchback, if you don't mind sitting up a little higher. And I think a lot of people like sitting up a little higher.
Well, there's that, and maybe if you got some lowering springs or something, it'd be kind of like a BMW 1 Series hatchback.
I don't think it would. Definitely.
Never quite qualify.
Don't think that it would at all.
What else have you seen at the show that you like?
Well, I mean, along the same vein of the small, crossover SUV, there's the Hyundai Santa Fe. They've got 2 models of those, a 5-seater and a 7-seater. One of the things that I really am also kind of mixed on is the new Lincoln MKZ.
Oh, right.
I really like the Fusion, the new 2013 Fusion that debuted last year, earlier this year actually, right around the time we were at CES. And the MKZ is pretty much that same car with a really nice interior and what I would consider to be a polarizing exterior. I'm not a huge fan of that mustache grille that Lincoln's got going on right now.
Right, it's the big wings that go all the way across the front there.
Yeah, they say wings, and I see mustache. I don't see how they're not seeing mustache.
It reads a little bit big on the MKZ. I mean, I've seen it on some of the other cars I kind of like, but on the MKZ, it's like, that's kind of a smaller car, and the wings go all the way around the
Well, they
sides
integrate
almost
into the headlights, so it's like, they're going all the way back darn near to the A-pillar. But then the interesting thing about that car is that it's got this glass roof, like maybe 14 and a half square feet of glass on top of the vehicle, and all of that lifts up and slides back, so you can have an open top experience if you kind of like that. I think it looks a little weird when it's open, but when it's closed, you can barely tell it's there.
And along the lines of that Hyundai Santa Fe, I also saw the Subaru Outback, which everybody loves an Outback, and they've refreshed it a little bit. They haven't changed much, but one thing they did do is they made the front look more aggressive. And I'm not sure Subaru buyers will like that, because I kind of think the reason why Subaru buyers like it is because they're all progressives and they like a car that doesn't look so super macho. I mean, no cowboys buy Subarus.
Well, I think the reason Subaru buyers buy Subarus is because they're Subarus and they're expected to buy them. So, I mean, you've got that sort of thing going on there. I think regardless of what you do, Subaru is a company that drastically changes their visual identity every couple of years. I mean, you see that with the Impreza, where that car's changing every 5 years, to a completely different looking vehicle. So I think Subaru buyers are going to pick it up as long as it's a good car and it delivers that all-wheel drive performance that they really kind of want.
Yeah, I mean, they have their reputation for dependability and all-purposeness too, which they'll people will like that. Okay, now the worst thing at this show, in my opinion,
I already know where you're going with this.
the flying car, which is not even a flying car. Terrafugia the Transition.
Right. It's not so much a flying car as it is a plane that you could drive on the highway if you wanted to.
Yeah, and the company does say they just call it a roadable airplane. They don't call it a flying car. Everybody else seems to. It's like, come on, people, get over this car. It's not that interesting. You will never buy one. None of you will ever buy one of these and drive it to the airport, take off, fly to another airport, and drive somewhere else.
I think somebody will. Someone with almost $280,000 just to throw away on a toy.
And a pilot's license.
And who absolutely hates standing in line.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're one of those people who maybe takes a commuter flight maybe from San Francisco to LA 4 times a week, and you just don't want to deal with airport lines, maybe you could get a pilot's license and drop almost $300,000 on this and fly it yourself. But I mean, I feel like for maybe 99.95% of people, this is a completely useless endeavor and a very oddball sort of situation.
Well, actually, there's a key statistic here. The cruising speed of this of the Terrafugia in flight, the Transition in flight, is 105 miles per hour. Given maybe 500 miles from San Francisco to LA, that's a good 5-hour flight. And I think most people say, I'm going to get on a 737 or 757 and get there in an hour.
Yeah, I think maybe you save an hour over driving at that point.
Yeah.
There you go. You just ruined it for me. It is now 100% useless.
I think the people that, the same people that will buy this flying car thing are the same people that buy amphibious cars, and that's nil.
It's people who just kind of want to be able to say, oh, I've got it. We'll see one in Jay Leno's garage.
that's probably
it'll
the
never,
one place.
It'll never get a single mile put on it.
All right, well, we've been CarTech Live here, the CarTech crew, myself, Wayne Cunningham, Antuan Goodwin, here on the floor of the 2012 New York International Auto Show.